How you going, brothers and the occasional sister? Currently we're cruising in the Z. Probably or possibly one of the cheapest sports cars you could get bang for your buck. It's probably about a $10,000 car, but it goes like stink. There's a few sports cars you can buy quite cheap that are good. I think the Holden Club Sport that come out, you can pick those up relatively cheap too these days for around 10 grand. Not that cheap, but as far as sports cars go. Anyway, I wanted to make a video for the Bro Check Club, not to say like poor me or any of that shit, but just to let you brothers know that all of us, including me, go through shit times, and I've been going through a shit year. The last year I had some good times and some bad times, but the last 3 months I've had pericarditis, and it took ages for the doctor to actually diagnose what it was, and had to keep a brave face and doing stuff when I had this really bad pain in my heart and my chest, and I didn't know what it was, and because I didn't know what it was, I was worried about worse things happening to me. And not that it's a great diagnosis to have, because it slows you down. I'm now on a medication which has got me under control to some degree, but I wanted to just make a video for every one of you out there that might be struggling right now in some way where you've got something wrong with you and you don't know what it is. And it could be something physical like pericarditis, or it could be something mental, something going on in your mind that just doesn't feel right and you're trying to get to the bottom of it. Or it could be something emotional that you're feeling. It could be something you're just feeling down about or shit about. Maybe you've broken up with the person you love, or maybe they left you, or they passed away, or they died through sickness, or possibly they left you for somebody else. That's a terrible one. Or they just stopped loving you, and that could be really painful too. But whatever it is that you've got going on, just wanted you to know you're not alone. All of us human beings, we all suffer in one way or another. And for the best part of the time we're not suffering, but we do go through patches where we do. And it's okay, as my old friend Adventure Dan says, it's okay to not be okay. So don't give yourself a kick in the guts when you're already down and beat yourself up over it. Just go, right, well, I'm a bit stuffed up now, but it'll come right. And remind yourself that whatever comes up in the future, you'll deal with it when it comes, and that you shouldn't have too much fear about stuff, because often 90% of the time what you're worried about happening never ever happens, and the other 10% when it does happen is never as bad as you thought it was going to be. So remind yourself of that if you're a little bit anxious about something in the future, or you're not quite sure what you've got something wrong with you, because that's how I felt for the last 3 months, and I haven't been allowing myself to get too upset about it. And there's reasons why I could get upset, because one of them is I have a small cyst in my lung, which it's there, and of course my brain goes, well, I'm an ex-smoker, I'm an ex-bloody everything, maybe my karma's come back for those years when I was a smoker, and maybe I've got lung cancer. And you start thinking thoughts like that because it feels like it, but no, it's something else. It's an inflammation of the pericardium, which is the sac that goes around the heart. And they give me a medication called colchicine, which it makes you feel a bit nauseous, a bit sick, but it's a hell of a lot better than having a sore heart. So don't feel alone if you're struggling. You're not the only one out there. A lot of us are struggling right now with things, putting on a brave face, winging it as we go along, and trying to do the best we can with what we've got. If you're somebody out there who's really going through a tough patch right now, and I'm in a real tough patch, you're physically in a bad place and you're also mentally and emotionally in a bad place, what I'll say to you is this: where there is life, there is hope. I have seen miracles. I'm a bloody miracle. I shouldn't be here. I've survived a lot of disease processes and still going, and you can be in a place where you think, oh, I'm really buggered, and the doctors might be telling you buggered, or somebody might be, or you might be telling yourself you're buggered. You're probably the one that's doing it the most, but you're not buggered. If you've got a pulse, your arms and legs ain't going to drop off, and if you've got a heartbeat still, then you've got hope for things can happen, and good things can happen. Miracles can happen. You can meet someone that can change your life. You can have something, one thing that can come along and change life. On the flip side of that, you can be cruising down the highway of life thinking this is bloody awesome, and next minute something bang can come out, like a tractor can pull out in front of me right now, head-on collision, brain damage can happen. So on that note, if you're in an okay space right now, bloody enjoy it and be grateful, and practice gratitude and go, shit, I'm bloody lucky. Right now I haven't got a stroke, or right now I haven't lost my arm or my my leg. Right now I've still got my sight, or I've got my hearing, or I've got my testicles, or I've got my penis. Right now I can still use these things. And if you have lost some of those things, go, well, look at what I still have got, what I can do with what I've got. Make sure that your glass is always half full, not half empty. There's no good going to come about playing the victim game if someone's hurt you. That's shit's in the past, it's done, it's dusted, it's over. Move on, get on with it. If you've got pain that you've got right now and you're feeling pain, don't use that excuse to not shine. You'll still shine. It's just going to slow you down a bit, but you're still going to get through. And be a little bit hard, endure it, go through it, put up with it, get on with it. Don't use it as an excuse not to do the things you want to do and be who you want to be, and don't let yourself become defined by your disease if you've got a disease, because that's not who you are. Whatever thing you've got that's slowing you down, you might be struggling with weight. If you're overweight and you're struggling with that, maybe it's time for you to forget about trying to be on a diet, forget about trying to lose weight, forget about all the things that everybody's telling you and that you're reading and seeing everywhere, and have a good sit down somewhere and a good conversation with yourself, and ask yourself the hard questions. Don't listen to me, don't listen to anybody else. You start having a conversation with you and get down to the real guts of it. And I'm using this as an analogy because, believe it or not, there was a time in my life where I was overweight for my size, and for me, this is only for me, I can't speak for you, but for me, I was eating emotionally. I had a job where I was driving a truck, and I used to fucking eat all the time, just because I was bored. I get bored and I put something in my mouth, and I put rubbish in my mouth. I put chocolate and chips and pies and hamburgers and all the shit food, and I was emotionally eating, and I got overweight, and I got a tummy that I didn't feel good about, and I was slow. I was 80 kilogram. Well, that sounds like a normal weight, but for a guy who's naturally very lean, which I am, I was well overweight. That's not my natural weight. That's about 20 kg over my natural weight. I'm a light build. I'm a lightweight. So I understand what it's like, but nobody could tell me that. I had to have that talk myself. And it came about one day. A friend sent me a video, and the video was about the pros and cons of doing one meal a day, and that was the start of it. And I realised how much I was actually addicted to food. I realised, geez, I've got a problem here. I can't even go for bloody 6 hours without eating. I've got a problem here. That's my problem, nobody else's, and no one's going to tell me. No one's going to tell you. You have to tell yourself. So sit down, a quiet place. If you have a problem like this, pull up a chair with yourself, and imagine you're talking to a real good mate, but you're talking to yourself. And treat yourself kindly and gently on yourself. Treat yourself like you treat a good mate. Don't beat yourself up. Say to yourself, "G'day, mate. We haven't had a talk for a while, you and me." Talking about yourself. Yeah, we haven't had a talk. What's going on with us right now? What's the story? Just treat yourself like that. Well, right now I'm struggling a little bit. Maybe it's not to do with your weight, maybe it's to do with your finances. Maybe your finances got out of whack, and you owe money and you're a bit in the shit. Okay, how do we get in this situation? What do we do? Oh, well, we bought that bloody car on the tick we probably couldn't really afford. We bought it anyway, and then we ticked up something else. Oh, that's right, we ticked up that bloody boat. We didn't really need that, and it didn't really make us feel any better in the end. We didn't really catch any more fish than when we were going out with our mates, but we did that, and now we're in the poo. How are we going to get out of this? Well, do we really need this boat? Well, no, we could probably flog that off for a kick-off. What about the car? Well, I could sell it. I know I'm going to lose a few bucks, but hey, I'll be out of the red then, and I'll just go down to something smaller. I know what I'll do. I'll buy a bike and I'll bike to work. That way I'll get fit, I'll work on my fitness, and I'll get myself out of hock. There's always a solution to every problem, even the real tough ones. The tougher ones are the emotional ones. If somebody you love has left you and you still love them and they don't love you, that's the fucker, that's the kicker, that's the one that really tests you. And even worse still, if they leave you when you're already sick. And a lot of women bail on their men when they get depressed. 70%, this is some of the states, United States of America, I read the stats, so I don't have the same here in New Zealand, but 70% of divorcees, the men that get left by their woman, it happens when the man's going through a bout of bad mental health or physical health. And that doesn't surprise me one bit. Yep. If you're winning, she's all bloody good. You're bringing in the money, you're bringing in the love, you're bringing in the good energy, the power, it's all going good. Suddenly you've lost your job and you're suffering depression at your home, sitting there eating Twinkies on the couch, or you're eating bloody Cheezels or chips or something, just watching TV all day, or scrolling on your phone endlessly and not being able to move because you've gone to a state of depression. That's not very glamorous, that's not very much of a turn on to your wife or your girlfriend, and she's going to start looking elsewhere real quick and thinking about her options, and she's gone, and suddenly guess what, next minute you're alone and your heart's broken because you loved her and you didn't realise you took your eye off the ball and you lost her. I've done that, got the t-shirt. Yeah, if you want to know how not to have a relationship, have a talk to good old Clay. I've fucked up all the things you could do over these years. I'm 60 now, and yeah, I don't get it right a lot of the time. But I know one thing for sure is there's never too late to get it right. Never too late to fix a problem. Never too late to say, okay, how can I make this work? What have I learned from my past? Because there really is no such thing as a mistake. The only thing is a mistake is something you don't learn by. And you have to make mistakes. And the bloke that never made a mistake, he never made anything at all. Nothing. He didn't make anything. And I know people like that. I know people that have never injured themselves because they've never done anything extreme. If you've got to 60 years of age without some serious injuries and you didn't do enough bad shit, enough wild shit, enough adventurous shit, you just played it safe the whole time, that's fine. Congratulations, you've got a body that functions well and your shoulder's not rooted and you don't have hip problems and you don't have a stuffed back. That's good. I'm happy for you, but for all the injuries I've got, I wouldn't change a bloody thing. And I really mean that. I don't regret one thing. I did some stupid ass things, but I don't regret it because it's part of my life and the adventures I've had, and I've had some pretty extreme adventures. I've had a fair bit of luck too. Luck's played a pretty big part. I'm in my driveway now, so I'm going to take this phone off because it's going to bounce up and down. Yeah, we're going to take you off. I can hold you now. I'm out of public. Oh, sorry about the hand over the camera. And anyway, whatever your problem is that you've got going on right now, it's not as big as you think it is, not as bad as you think it is, and you can actually change it, and you can make it better. Just wanted you to know that. And also wanted you to know, brother or brothers, who's ever listening to this right now, that you're not alone. We all struggle, every single one of us. We all go through hard patches. And as Sir Winston Churchill said, if you're going through a hard patch, just keep on going. Because eventually, you come out the other side of it, and it's all sweet as bro again. But you've got to keep on going. You've got to keep on charging ahead. Keep on swimming. Keep on enduring the pain, whatever it is. A lot of things seem like they're really, really bad. When you're in crisis, it seems like it's never ever going to be good again. But it does get good again. That's what happens. It's the nature of life. And the sure thing about any crisis is sooner or later it will pass. And you'll be back on your feet and you'll be sweet as bro. And then you go along for a while and guess what? Another crisis pops up. But the thing about that also is that when you have these crises in your life, they're actually what makes you grow. That's it, you learn from them. Or hopefully you learn from them. If you have something that goes really, really like pear-shaped, you've got to see it as actually a valuable lesson and something that come along to make you a better bloke. Or a better sister too, for that matter, if you're a sister watching this. Anyway, I'm back home now. I've got a whole lot of groceries here and stuff. I bought me oats, so I get the big thick ones, the Harrington's ones, because I like the real coarse stuff. And I bought the old bloody pickled onions because I like to eat those when I'm not in the company of somebody because they make you rip like a beast. What else did I buy today? Oh, I bought some wheat for my chickens, and I got kumara because they were still quite dear. They were $10 each, but some places I've seen as much as 15. So at $10, like that's a meal for me that there, and that's probably like about $3. So it's affordable and it's sweet potatoes, really, really good tucker. And also bought some radishes and some onions because I can't grow those. Well, my onions cracked this year because they got hit by some sort of blight. And my radishes, I just need to plant more radishes. I've eaten them all. Got a good crop of tomatoes and a whole lot of other stuff. The garden's actually been bloody awesome. Next month, going to kick off building that log cabin. There's my logs there. That's my next dream to come true. Anyway, time to put groceries away, go inside, walk dogs and get on with it. Go steady, check on a brother, and if you know a brother who's struggling, share this video with him. It might help him out. It may not too, but you can't do any harm by trying, can you? See you later.